think COP30 is going to be globally a really important moment. And I think it's going to be important in terms of how that gets then translated through the actionable solutions into local realities. This idea of readiness for change. Can we workers convene with all those different actors to enable that readiness for change? So beyond the theoretical actionable solutions, into translating that into action, given today's uncertainty, the high levels of anxiety, and I think across the world, we've been all living this. We're looking back to recent elections, in Europe, to looking back to elections in India, looking forward to the elections in the US, and that risk of rolling back on so many of the promises and commitments that have been made since the Paris Agreement and the SDGs, and actually trying to protect and then widen that space. And that readiness for change, I think, is something, again, it's as local as it is global. It is as north as it is south, as east as it is west, that I would really hope that Convene in its small way can actually start to bring light to that. So I sort of see that I'm super excited by all the opportunities in front of us. And I think at this point, it's like that excitement is bubbling up now. And I would say that, we have very short term, some real possibilities in some of the global fora. Could be in New York Climate Week, which is coming up in September, and the Biodiversity COP in Cali, Colombia, coming up in October, going into a whole host of really key global fora. But behind that, there's the real work that happens on the ground with real people in their communities, and that's where we can engage more and more, I think, in terms of, and I would say, the tools and methodologies like the listening sessions are real examples of where that can start to really get greater and greater traction.
Absolutely. And I share the excitement. And for me, with a chief sense maker hat on, I think there's so much sense making to be done in the coming months, but mostly so much sort of connecting the dots, pulling the red threads, this language that we always use, because ultimately it's also a language about being in a collective, being in a community for me, because it's let's cut across, sort of create bridges between our different understandings and realize that we have so much that we share in terms of frustrations, anxieties, and then possibly then also solutions and ways out. So I'm really excited to dive into that complexity, definitely. How will you ready yourself for change in the coming weeks in your dialogue-rich summer?
I'm in my grandmother used to call her family house her soul place. Where I am right now is absolutely my soul place. It's in a little hamlet in central France. And for me, this is where I can gather my thoughts, gather my friends and family. I really don't want to be anywhere else.
I also know that I realize that I'm right now in someone else's soul place. So I'm sort of I hit the road and I'm visiting soul places of people that I love. So I think that that's basically how I'm spending my summer. It's definitely all about the soul.